Tamiya booth, and it has been many years since we've seen this. Kaijo Happyo Shinseihin. This is a new product that has been announced here at the show. There was nothing in any of our literature about it, which is really a great reason to come to Shizuoka to find these kind of surprises. And as you've already figured out, Tamiya has announced a 48 scale F-14A Tomcat. Wow, it's been a long time since they've done anything in 48 or something that didn't have a propeller. And I'm really excited about this because I love the Tomcat. I think it's like the coolest looking airplane that's ever graced a carrier deck. And I would like to think that all of the Mk.// fans out there will be very excited about this too, because as you may know, the F-14 Tomcat was the direct inspiration of the VF-1 Valkyrie. So this is its roots here, folks, the roots of Mk.// being released by Tamiya. Of course, since it's an F-14, it has the variable geometry wings, and the kit is going to duplicate that, so you'll be able to move the wings back and forth after the kit is completed. The canopy can be opened and closed, although it will require a parts change, but even after completion, you will be able to open or close the canopy. And here's where they've really gone and taken attention to detail. The F-14 Tomcat, some people may know, has like these sort of air bladders in this area on the top of the fuselage where the wings would close over the fuselage when it's in swept wing configuration. But when it's got its wings out wide and it's in a lower speed configuration, this part of the fuselage would kind of puff out a bit as air filled that area of the fuselage. And they've actually included both types of parts for the puffed out version and the more compact version for when the wings are swept back on the aircraft. So you can display it accurately as if it was in flight in a low speed configuration as well. It's also going to come with a full complement of armaments. It's the F-14A, which means of course we're going to get lots of Phoenix missiles, which is basically the whole thing it was designed to carry initially. So you'll be able to really load it up and make it look like the very frightening bird of prey that it was. So you can probably tell I'm pretty excited. The F-14A, a fantastic kit coming from the world's foremost model manufacturer. We don't have price or release date information yet, but we're hoping it's going to be sometime during 2016.
Here we are at the Tamiya booth and checking out I didn't know this was coming at all. It's a 1/16 scale radio-controlled Jagdpanzer IV 70V Lang. Tamiya just came out with the 1/35 scale static kit of this a little while back, and now here it is in massive 1/16 scale. As with all Tamiya's big 1/16 scale radio-controlled stuff, the detail is excellent, and you can also drive it around. It's coming out this September. The price is 94,800 yen. Of it. You can order it at HobbyLink Japan. Now it's based on like the real tank. This is also based on the Panzer IV running gear and chassis, and that's what Tamiya has done here. As you may know, they've had a Panzer IV radio-controlled kit out before, and these are all new tooled parts to go on top of that chassis to make a mostly new model of the Jagdpanzer IV 70V Lang. It's got a metal barrel, as you can see there, and a lot of new plastic parts. And if you've ever had a chance to drive around any of Tamiya's 1/16 scale radio-controlled tanks, they're a lot of fun. All right, here I am still at the Tamiya booth checking out some other amazing new releases. This is an all-new tooling kit of the American M10 tank destroyer. I think it was nicknamed the Wolverine. Had a 3-inch gun for blasting tanks, thin armor, but it was nimble and quick, so it could get away before it got blasted by a tiger or a panther. I'm not sure if it's all new tooling. I think some of the running gear might be from some previous Sherman kits, but you'll have to check on that. In any case, it's still great. And we got the sprues laid out here. Clear parts. The tracks are easy to use, flexible belts, which for a tank like this that has no sag or whatever, the detail is fine, so you don't have to spend the rest of your life putting individual links together. Belts go right on. Looks just like the real thing. The kit will come with 3 figures, as you see over there. Tank crew, guy loading, guy doing something, guy looking through his binocs. You always have to look through your binoculars if you're ever in a tank, apparently. So yeah, and this is coming out this summer for 3,800 yen. That is an excellent kit. Very well received there. Now moving on over to the left here a little bit, this is a happy new release in 1/48 scale. It's good to see some modern armor coming from Tamiya. This is the Type 10, the Hitomaru Sensha, Hitomaru Shiki Sensha. This is Japan's latest, I think it's called 4.5 generation, 4th generation, 4.5 generation. Latest technology in armor, latest technology in electronics, and the latest technology in 1/48 scale plastic model kits here. Tamiya continuing. A lot of people say, 1/48 armor's dead, blah, blah, blah. And then Tamiya keeps coming out with them, and they keep selling. So this is good to see. For modern armor fans, are very happy to see this. It's the Type 10 main battle tank. You see the tracks are going to be I see a couple of lengths here. I don't see the links on these sprues, but yeah, not a belt, so that's easy to assemble there. And you can see even my hand next to it, even in 48, it's a pretty big tank. So that is very, very cool. Very, very cool. Now we're going to try to muscle our way to the left a little bit more. This is previously announced stuff here, the French Mk.III in 1/35 scale. Also another excellent new kit from Tamiya, and that's on sale now for 4,000 yen. Oh, sorry, to backtrack just a bit, the Type 10 I was just talking about is coming out in July for 2,000 yen, so that's a good price for a lot of plastic. And again, the Mk.III is already out for 4,000 yen. We got some sprues down there.
All right, so here we are at the Tamiya booth, and we're taking a look at their new 1/24 scale Ferrari FXX K.
This thing looks like Batmobile on speed.
It does look like a Batmobile on speed. Well, this is the racing version of the FXX, so it's got some specialized aerodynamic enhancements, and as you can see, the back end of this Ferrari as it rotates around there, that's a really unique looking spoiler, and that's pretty unique for just this car that they have that going on. You've got the rear diffuser going on underneath the car as well. It's looking pretty shiny over there.
Yeah. I mean, the FXX was like the sport version of the Enzo, and at the time, people thought it was really, really extravagant. And now we get the FXX K, which takes it just a step further.
It's another, yeah, well, for that Enzo, they did have a full-on racing version like this version, but this is the new hotness. I believe only very, very few of them were ever manufactured. And if it was like the Enzo version, they can only drive it on the racetrack in Italy, I believe was the case.
It's not road legal, that's for sure.
But just like all the other Tamiya Ferrari kits, this one is not just your standard curbside kit. This is going to come with a full engine, and it is going to come molded in multiple colors, but this is not like a band-made kit. We're not going to snap it together. You are going to need some glue, and you are going to need some paint if you want it to look the best that you can make it.
I see that they're giving you the racing markings, but they're also giving you the masking.
Yeah, you got
the
the masking seals, so makes it easier to paint those the black parts on those windows there, so that way you don't overspray as well.
Yeah, and then you see the last thing they have on the booth there. It's just kind of like a primered version or a
we got the primer version, the prototype. You can see the engine detail inside the car, and you can see the interior of the car.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty well. Lots of detail on this, just like Tamiya is known for.
It looks sexy.
I'm over at Fine Molds, and Fine Molds got their start, it's probably 30 years ago or so now. And the very first 1/48 kit they ever released in their history was the Type 96 Carrier Fighter, the Claude. And the Type 96 Carrier Fighter, they did the initial version of the aircraft. And now, some 30 years later, they're going to release the Mk.III, I think it is, or the FB20 version they call it, or the Mk.IV, and also a variant type. I'll explain in a second. But first, for those of you who aren't familiar with the Type 96 Carrier Fighter, in its day, it was literally the best fighter plane in the world. I know, it looks kind of quaint now. But in 1935 or 36, when it first flew, it was the best thing in the world. In fact, the Japanese pilots loved it so much that when the plane that replaced it, which was the Zero, which I hope you've heard of, they initially didn't like the Zero compared to the 96, because the 96 was actually much more maneuverable than the far faster Zero was. Well, they eventually got to like it. But anyhow, Fine Molds initially released 30-some years ago the initial version of this, and now they're following up with the Type 4, I stand correct now, the Type 4 version of the 96 Carrier Fighter. And it's going to be coming out for a very reasonable price of just 3,672 yen, which is a great price given the sticker shock we've been seeing on a lot of the new offerings from a number of companies. They're also, I'm going to step across camera here, going to release a minor variant of the plane, and it's the first time this version has ever been done in injection plastic. They put a new engine in the aircraft halfway through its life, and they figured that because of all the great speed they were going to get out of it, the pilot was finally going to need to be enclosed in a sealed canopy because of all the wind. Thing was, when they actually tested the new design, they found that they barely got any additional speed out of the aircraft, and the pilots hated the new canopy. So they eventually actually went back to it, to the open cockpit configuration, after they built about 20 of these. So this was supposed to be an improvement. It didn't work out, and it was kind of maybe the first example of a closed canopy Japanese naval fighter. Of course, the Zero was closed canopy and had so much speed it had to be closed canopy, but this was their first baby steps in that direction. But I've always loved the lines of the Claude. especially with those spots on the fixed landing gear there. And it was a great fighter aircraft. I had the opportunity to speak with the famous Saburo Sakai before he passed away several years ago, and he used to fly these as well, and he also loved it before he made the shift over to the Zero. So a great piece of Japanese military aviation history here, coming out from Fine Molds.
Hey everybody, it's me, Brian, at Beaver Corporation for HobbyLink Japan, and I'm at the Fine Molds booth checking out a variation of one of my favorite Japanese tanks, the Type 61. If you're a Godzilla fan, like I am, you've seen Godzilla punt these things all over the countryside, and this is their second variation, or the second variation of the kit. They had the original Type 61, which was basically like as it appeared in 1961 or thereafter. This is from 1961 and on, and as you just panned past, you saw this is an all-new set of sprues for this. We got a new compartment for the rear of the turret bustle thing, new railings, and a bunch of other little new parts. The idler wheels got new parts. And one of the main difference you'll notice is that it's got the big searchlight on the front. Now I just confirmed, I didn't know if this was an infrared light or just a normal visible light searchlight, and it's a searchlight that they added on there. And actually this kit, it's a convertible kit. You can make it with or without the searchlight and with or without some of the other details on there. So yeah, the Type 61. And this Soldier Done, I actually have ridden on one of these about 10 years ago. They were still in service after about 40 years. Now they're all retired from the Japan Self-Defense Force, so it's nice to see some cracking new kits of this old venerable Sencha tank, coming out. So yeah, this is a new variation of the Type 61 main battle tank from Fine Molds in 1/35 scale. And by the way, when's this coming out? It's coming out soon, June. It's coming out at the end of June. And you can also, this is the original set for the original kit. It's all being sold separately, but it's still applicable to the new kit. So yeah, Type 61, 1/35 scale, Fine Molds, coming in June.
All right, we're here now at the Platz booth, and we're going to take a look at some Dragon kits. So coming new from Dragon, and this is a 72nd scale. We got the Churchill Mk.III, and this is the AVRE combat engine version. And this is, according to the sign at the bottom here, this is a new tool kit, and it's coming out this May, so this month. And it's going to be on our site. MSRP is 3,000 yen, but of course we're going to have it maybe a bit cheaper than that. So take a look. These 72nd scale kits from Dragon, these are real gems to build. They usually come with the soft one-piece DS Dragon tracks, but that's okay because it's a small scale, so you don't really need super detailed tracks on these kits anyway. But as far as the parts go, they look pretty detailed, pretty standard fare for Dragon. They're known for some great armor kits, and this one's not going to be any different from that. All right, guys, so here we have the new Hasegawa. Now, this is the Mikasa, the Japanese battleship Mikasa, but this is the first time that they've done it in 700 scale. Now, about 10 years ago, they did this ship, but that was in 200 scale, if I remember correctly, or maybe it was 350 scale, but now we're finally getting it in 700 scale, and this is a waterline kit, as you can see, so it's not a full hull ship. And this battleship has importance because this is actually, in real life, this is the last remaining Japanese battleship in existence. It managed to survive the Second World War, and now it's a museum. It's open in Yokosuka. But as you can tell, looking at this kit, it's got some fantastic looking detail. Now, of course, this is a kit that you're going to have to glue and you're going to have to paint together yourself. But once you get it together here, as you can see on this example, this is a pretty nice looking kit. And this battleship, it had its importance in the war between Japan and Russia in 1905. And this was the flagship of that battle. And it did survive that war, and they did crush Russia at that time. So this is a really old ship. We don't usually see these ships in 700 scale for that era. So it's kind of nice to get something like this in 700 scale. And of course, so this kit we're also going to get, there's an optional photo etch set that we're going to get, and there's also going to be a wood decal sticker sheet that you can buy for this set as well. And I don't know if you can see it in the back here, but this is what it's going to look like once you've got both those, the photo etch set and the wood decal sticker set on there. So it looks really nice. All right, so here we have, now this is the Nissan Sunny. Now, in America and a lot of foreign countries, we didn't get these kind of trucks, but these are basically unibody trucks. It's basically based on a car body, but it is a truck. Now, last year, Hasegawa brought us the first Sunny in 24th scale. That was the earlier version. Now, a year later, they're back again, and this is the later version. In real life, this truck came out in 1989, so a little bit has changed. A lot of it's still kind of same from that earlier one, but for this version, we have a new front grille and a new bumper. We got some new headlights, and you can kind of see these new parts down here. There's the grille, and we got some new exhaust with the catalytic converters in there. Got to have that clean air, past the recent emission standards at the time for 1989. So this is going to be another great sunny truck. All right, so here we have, this is the 72nd scale Hasegawa X29 kit, but now it's coming with NASA decals. So this kit has already been out, but now we're going to be able to have it with NASA decals. That looks pretty nice. All right, and then moving on over here to the F4EJ. So this is also, now this is in 48th scale, and look at those decals. This is going to have quite a few decals, as you can tell. Now this is a 60th anniversary of the Japanese Self-Defense Air Force. And wow, for those of you that love decals, this is going to be a kit for you. All right, so moving on over here, we have the this is the American Apache Helicopter. And with this part, we're going to get a couple of new photo etch parts for this kit. I believe this is the Taiwanese Air Force version of the Apache Helicopter. So they recently got that into their service, I believe. And then moving on, we don't have actual kits of these, but we do have some pictures. Basically, these are all mostly just decal variations of the kits that they already have. So for those of you looking for these kits with those specific decals, it's going to be an option for you. And moving on over here, we have some more kits with no pictures of the actual kits themselves, but you got some, it looks like all of these are going to have some new parts. So starting off at the top, we have the KC-130HS. So this is the Hercules. And this is going to be in the Japanese Self-Defense Force service. And then moving on below that, we have the KC-46A. This is the tanker aircraft, and we're going to get some new parts, and this is also 200 scale. And then moving on down here, we've got the 72nd. This is the KI-67, and we're going to get some new resin parts with this one. Not plastic parts, but resin parts. It looks like we've got some underwing. I'm not sure if these are drop tanks or bombs, but you're going to get those along with this kit as well. And moving on over here, we got some more decal variations. Now we do have kits this time. So this is the Ronald Reagan from the USS Ronald Reagan. We got the E-2C Hawkeye, and this is from the CV Carrier Wing 5, and this is the CAG bird, the CAG bird. And then moving on down here, we've got some more CAG birds. Basically, we've got one from the Strike Phaeton 27 and the VFA 102 Diamondbacks. All right, guys. So here we are at the Aoshima booth.
Yeah.
And Aoshima, they're ready to rock you like a hurricane here.
Hurricane.
Hurricane.
Here I am.
Rock
me like a hurricane. I love this car, Todd. I have to say.
This is a sweet looking car.
I love this machine.
And this is an Aoshima kit. So this is one of their really detailed kits. So as you can kind of see here, well, let's take a look at the parts actually if we can while we're looking over there. Try and stretch over the people here. So this is one of those really detailed kits where you're going to get that interior, and not only are you going to get the interior, but you're going to get the engine as well. So it's not just a curbside kit.
Yep.
This is a kit with a full engine as well.
Yep.
And it looks like we got some different kind of wheels. I'm not sure if those are both included with this kit or not.
2 sets of the wheels, yeah.
Yeah, 2 different sets of wheels, so you got your choice. Look at all those parts. This is one detailed kit.
Yeah.
So Lamborghini fans and fans of supercars with lots of details and lots of parts, you aren't going to want to miss this one.
Yeah. The Aoshima Lamborghinis always go over really well.
Yeah,
and I can see why.
They make some great kits. All right, next up here at the Aoshima booth, we have the JG-SDF Observation Helicopter OH-1 Ninja, and I believe this is an original Japanese design, and this is coming out in 72nd scale. So Aoshima has recently been releasing a number of military kits in 72nd scale. Before they came out, they had this truck was a previous kit that they released, and now they're coming out. They're moving on into modern aviation here. We got this new observation helicopter. This is a really nice looking detailed kit, as you can tell by looking at those parts there. And we got a number of open hatches. So you're going to get a lot of detail on the inside. I guess if you can look on over, if that one over there on the stand, you can kind of see those open hatches there. So just to check out this detail, that's pretty fantastic for 72nd scale here. It's a really nice looking kit. It's coming out soon, I believe. Next up here we have the US2, and this is coming out in 1/144th scale. Now this is one of those airplanes that can land on water, so they don't really make many of these anymore. This is kind of a unique aircraft this large that's still an amphibious aircraft is what they call it. That's the word I'm looking for. So here we're taking a look at the parts, and we got some nice fine engraved panel lines, and we got some engraved rivets as well. Looking at these parts here, this is a pretty nice looking kit. A good kit for fans of the modern Japanese ground self-defense force and Navy, I guess. All right, moving on to the naval section here now, we have the Akitsu Maru. So this is kind of like a precursor for the modern day American amphibious warships. This was a Japanese version during World War II. It had a flight deck on top. It could launch small aircraft, and also it had a opening hatch in the back that could launch launching aircraft. So this was pretty unique for its day and age. This is a new kit coming out from Aoshima in 700 scale. It is waterline. It looks like it's going to come with a couple of 700 scale tanks and aircraft. And looking at these parts, we got some pretty fantastic detailed parts. Looking on over here, yep, here we got the runners for the tank and the aircraft on over here. There we go, we got the aircraft and the tank that's coming with it. All right, next up, so Royal Navy fans, here's one for you. So Aoshima is going to be bringing us the HMS Hermes. Okay, so I know a lot of people out there have been kind of waiting for one of these in 700 scale, and well, Aoshima is known for some pretty detailed kits, and this one's going to live up to that same quality as the others. We got some pretty detailed looking parts over here. Look at this, it's pretty interesting how they molded this cage mast they have down here. Look at this runner they have built around to protect it from falling apart there, I guess. We got some nice details in there, some nice openings, and some nice looking parts. All right, so fans of the Royal Navy and the HMS Hermes, this one's for you.
Okay, also at Aoshima, they're kind of letting some stuff out of the bag here. This is stuff we're not likely to see until December at least, but we do see we're going to have a BMW M3 E30 from '91. Old school BMW fans love this car, kind of a precursor to the more smoother, rounder M3 that came out sometime after it. They do have some parts back there for just to show you the runners, the hoods and stuff like that. And there is some windows and stuff down there that you're gonna want to see. They're doing the same thing here for their Brabham BT52. This is 120 scale as well, and we're only getting, you know, the prototype. But as you can see, it's looking pretty sexy. It's good to see another Brabham in a model form in 120 scale. I don't think we see enough of these ones. And then we're going to have this one, which is actually spinning around. They're also saying December, but it's a Toyota Corolla 11 AE92 from 1988, right? Minolta. So this is going to be racing colors. We're going to probably see that come in the markings and the water slide decals. But so far, they're only giving us this little hint in the form of, you know, the prototype.